Okay, let's jump right in. We're tackling perseverance today.
Yeah, a big one.
And we're doing it specifically through one lens, right?
Mm.
The source you brought, The Power of Perseverance by Mr. Joyce Beloy.
Exactly. Think of this like, well, like we're cracking open this specific study guide together.
A personalized study guide, I like that.
Yeah. And our mission really is just to see what this author, Mrs. Beloy, says. What is perseverance, according to her? Why does she think it matters? And crucially, how does she suggest we build it, just based on this text?
Perfect. Focused. So let's start right there, the definition. How does Miss Beloy actually define perseverance in this piece?
She gives us a pretty clear definition. She says it's the ability to maintain the focus on goals and objective and persist despite delays in success, challenges, or difficulties.
Maintain focus and persist despite delays.
Okay, so what's packed inside that definition? What does she say is kind of, implied there? Well, she highlights that it includes things like resilience, definitely determination, and just that continued effort, pushing towards your goals, especially when you hit those roadblocks.
It's the pushing through the roadblocks part.
Exactly. It's not just having the goal.
And she connects this ability, this persistence, to a certain way of thinking, a mindset.
Yes, she does. She draws a direct line to what she calls a growth mindset.
Okay.
And according to her text, it's that mindset that helps you develop the adaptability you need, both personally and professionally. It builds mental toughness, emotional strength, all the stuff you need to keep going when things get hard.
Right. So this determined focus, the resilience, it's fueled by that growth mindset, which helps you adapt and stay strong. Okay, that paints a picture of what it is, but, why bother? What are the actual benefits, according to this source?
Good question. She actually lays out 5 key benefits. These are sort of the rewards you get for putting in that sustained effort she describes.
5 benefits. Okay, let's unpack those based on what she wrote. What's number 1?
She starts with increased self-confidence. Yeah, the idea is basically when you work towards and actually achieve those long-term goals, maybe ones that felt, huge or impossible.
Yeah.
The act of getting there shows you what your effort can do.
Yeah.
You see the results, and that builds your belief in yourself.
You prove it to yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the second benefit in her list?
Second is personal growth. She uses this interesting phrase called perseverance, a lonely attribute.
Lonely attribute. Why lonely?
Well, the way she explains it, it's about how pushing through challenges, figuring out problems again and again, that's how you build resilience. That process of bouncing back, that's the growth mechanism itself. It's something you often navigate internally.
So the struggle is the growth, in a way. Interesting. Now, she mentions resilience there, but I think you said resilience is also listed as its own separate benefit.
That's right, yeah. Resilience is number 4, actually. She lists it separately, probably to emphasize it. She says persistence actively builds resilience skills. It changes how you see obstacles. They become growth opportunities.
Yeah.
And this helps you get better at problem solving, making decisions, succeeding even when things are tough. So it's tied into personal growth, but also a distinct skill you develop.
Got it. Like perseverance is the workout, resilience is the muscle you build. Okay, so we have self-confidence, personal growth, resilience. What about like the outside world? Work.
Yep, that brings us to career advancement. That's the third benefit she lists.
Right.
The source suggests that being persistent tends to have a positive impact at work on your team. That kind of dedication gets noticed by managers.
Naturally.
And that visibility can, open up doors for promotions or new opportunities.
So tangible career benefits. We've got 4 now. What's the 5th one she outlines?
The 5th one is improved relationships.
Okay, that one feels maybe less obvious. How does persistence help relationships?
Yeah, it seems a bit counterintuitive maybe. But Mrs. Beloy explains it like this. When you're really focused on your goals, using perseverance, you naturally prioritize better. This focus helps you appreciate what colleagues contribute because you're often working towards a common purpose. And maybe more practically, it helps you kind of filter out negativity. You limit time with people who aren't supportive because you're focused on getting things done, less conflict.
I see. So the focus channels your energy towards shared goals and supportive people, which smooths out relationships. That's actually quite insightful. Okay, so this source gives us a definition, and these clear benefits: internal confidence, growth, resilience, career impact, even better relationships. So the big question then is, how do we get it? How do we build this perseverance thing?
Exactly. And she gives us 5 practical ways, crucial ways she calls them. to improve your perseverance, useful at home and at work. This is the real how-to part of this study guide.
Right, the action plan. What's the first step she recommends?
She starts with discipline. Simple word, big implications.
Right.
She notes that, setting goals,
Mm-hmm.
even smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound, that part can be easy.
Yeah, planning is one thing.
But actually hitting them, that takes discipline. And she specifically mentions continuously monitoring your own progress as part of that. It's about that steady, consistent effort.
The follow-through. Got it. Okay, method number 2.
Self-compassion. This one's important. The author gets that it's hard, that you'll have doubts.
For sure.
So in those tough moments, she says, remember why you started. And also, crucially, think about the effort you've already put in. You've got momentum. Don't give up now. Be kind to yourself, even if you feel you messed up. Then, calmly figure out the loopholes, as she puts it, and fix them.
So it's not about being perfect, but about being kind to yourself while you learn and adjust. Okay.
Third method.
Adaptability. Really key. Perseverance, in this view, isn't just banging your head against a wall.
Right.
It needs flexibility. She points out things almost never go exactly to plan. So you need to be able to switch up your strategy, adapt to changes, but still keep that end goal in sight.
Persistent goal, flexible path. Makes sense. What's number 4? Support. You don't have to go it totally alone. The source stresses seeking help sometimes.
From colleagues, team members.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if a task can be delegated, or if you're just plain stuck and not sure what to do next. Asking for help is part of persevering smartly.
Using the team, basically. Good point. And the 5th and final method from the source.
Celebrating milestones. This is a good one. She suggests breaking big tasks down into smaller, manageable pieces.
Chunking it.
Right. And then you celebrate each time you finish one of those smaller chunks. You don't have to wait until the whole massive thing is done to feel good about your progress.
Gives you those little wins along the way to keep you going.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try and tie this together based just on this source. Mrs. Beloy's The Power of Perseverance. Understanding what it is, that focused, resilient push, powered by a growth mindset, and why it's good for us, confidence, growth, resilience, career, relationships, that gives us the foundation.
Right.
And then we have these 5 practical tools she offers. Discipline, self-compassion, adaptability, getting support, and celebrating those milestones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She frames perseverance as this great tool we all have access to for reaching our goals. Knowing what it is and why it helps lets us use these methods to actually build it.
It's definitely presented as a skill here, something you can develop, not just something you either have or don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she ends with a really interesting thought about how that development happens.
Oh, yeah. What's the final takeaway?
Well, the very last line of the text is, your reflections do enhance your perseverance skills.
Your reflections do enhance your perseverance skills.
Wow.
Wow, okay. That suggests just thinking about this stuff like we're doing now is actually part of building this skill.
It seems to the way she's implying, yeah.
So maybe a final thought for you listening, having gone through this source, this study guide with us. Think about those 5 methods Mrs. Beloy suggests. Discipline, self-compassion, adaptability, support, celebrating milestones. Based purely on her points, which one of those feels like it might be the trickiest for you right now? Or maybe which one feels like the most promising place to start? And then remembering her final line, why I'm just reflecting on that, really thinking about it, be the very first step, according to this source, to boosting your own perseverance.
Yeah, it brings it all back to that idea of conscious understanding being part of the process she lays out.
Yeah.
Great point to ponder.